Welcome back to Riders Reset. Today looks a little different. I'm on the ground and Emily's here to help me demonstrate. So for today's riding exercise, you're going to need a friend. That's why I said that you should invite some of your riding friends to keep you accountable along the way here, because now's the perfect time to say, hey, let's work on this exercise together. All right, so Emily, I just want you to hold the reins like you normally would, and I'm going to act as the horse. All right, so I'm just moving back and forth, and Emily's doing a pretty good job, but there's a few moments here, and you might be able to see it, where we sort of lose contact a little bit. There's a slight little bit of slack that happens in the reins. So what I want you to do is I want you to stay as soft as possible through your elbow, put a little weight in your elbow, and see if you can follow my hand. And that's a totally different feeling, right? Now go ahead and tighten up your elbow. See what happens? It's so hard to have any sort of following happen when we do that. So that's why I always talk about how important it is to stay loose in our joints. We want a following hand with consistent contact. Really nice. And what this can just do is give you that feeling of holding contact. And let's say I wanted to add a little bit more contact to ask her to soften. How would you do that?
Ooh, that's a great question.
There you go. You did it though. You just added a little bit more weight to your elbow.
Perfect.
Yep. Sometimes you'll feel it sort of along like this part of your back. You'll feel a little bit more weight added in there. Nice. Very nice. And that's all we're looking for. And you can kind of play around with trying a few different things. What happens if I lift one rein up? Can I stay consistent in that way? This is all just a way for you to get that feeling of following the horse's head, following the movement, so that we can stay consistent with contact. What happens is if we're not, and we're just bouncing back and forth, this feels really inconsistent and unclear to the horse. So that's why this exercise is so beneficial. You can practice this if you don't have a horse to practice this with. You can even just do this on the ground with the bridle. That's a great way to get started. Another thing that I actually will keep in mind when I'm walking my dog. So I'll think about when there's contact on the leash with my dog. It's just, you start to notice those things as you practice this when you have contact with your dog. So this is just a really great exercise in feel. Now, feel can sound like a very elusive thing to a lot of riders. We've probably heard it, but we don't really understand what it means. And this is a perfect example of what we can do to practice feel and improve our feel. So any questions?
No, I think that's it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again for joining me, and we'll see you tomorrow.